I guess the first question I start off with, how you feeling today?
I feel great. I feel great. I mean, I was actually at the debate on Tuesday night, and I saw the president before the debate and after the debate. We didn't have any extensive conversation. We had a small conversation when he was on his way out the door. And I interacted with a number of the people in the Trump orbit. But I feel great right now.
Got you. Give me your first, I guess, reaction when you first heard the president last night. I don't know if you saw via tweet or heard a little bit before some of us, but what was your initial reaction when you heard that news that he had contracted the virus?
Well, when I heard that Hope Hicks had it, I wouldn't be surprised. Hope works very closely with the president in the Oval Office, in the West Wing. She works very, very closely with him. So when I heard that Hope had it, I knew the possibility existed that the president would get it. And so when he made the announcement that he had it, I wasn't surprised. And it's just something we have to deal with. But he's a strong guy. He's a healthy guy. He's asymptomatic from what I understand. I saw the First Lady on Tuesday night as well, and she seemed to be in good shape. So once again, he's a healthy guy, and he takes a lot of precautions. He takes, he takes the zinc, and he drinks a lot of orange juice and different things like that. So I fully expect him to recover very well.
Gotcha. Tell me about your experience that day at the debate. What precautions were in place? I know at some points you were seen on camera, on video, not wearing a mask. There were people around you who didn't have one. Just tell me about some of the precautions you saw being taken there and why you may or may not have, followed some of the guidelines that they recommended.
Well, prior to the debate, we all had to go take COVID-19 tests. I mean, I've been tested maybe 4 times in this year. And so we had to all go take tests. Everyone who was in that immediate vicinity, all were tested for COVID. And we wore masks in and we wore masks around. We basically took our masks off. I did right before the event started. One of the reasons was I couldn't breathe. I got tired of breathing my own breath in and out. And so, I took it down, but I made sure that I wiped my hands real good. And I feel pretty good about it, but because of the fact that everyone in my area had been tested, we were all COVID-free, and that there were sanitation stations all around the hospital that I availed myself of. In fact, in one of the videos, you can see me wiping my hands and actually going up by my nose with a hand wipe, what's it called? Sanitized hand wipe. And so I think we took the necessary precautions. Immediately after it was over, we put our masks back on. But for optics' sake, during the debate, I didn't want to sit there with a mask on. I got tired of breathing my own breath.
I hear you on that. Now, can you tell me, do you feel differently? Do you feel like that was a wrong decision now that you're starting to see the viruses going around amongst people who were in that room, even though people did test negative, going into the event?
A wrong decision for who?
I was going to say just a wrong decision. Do you worry at all about your health knowing that you were around people who may have had the virus or may have come in contact with people who did?
No, I don't. I'm very optimistic regarding my health. And let me tell you something. My wife is more health conscious and more stringent regarding COVID than Dr. Fauci is. She keeps me with a steady ingestion of zinc and other things like that, and vitamins and a lot of vitamin C. And we take a lot of precautions at home. If I go outside and come back in, she's spraying me with alcohol. She keeps the home sanitized, and she keeps me vitamined up and zinced up. And so I'm not one of those guys that's very paranoid when it comes to my health anyway. I think I'm in good shape. I feel good, and I don't think I've contracted it.
Okay, and I have to ask this just because people say it happened. There are some people who were at the event who say people on your side of the aisle, the Trump side of the aisle, refused to wear masks when they were asked to. Is there any truth to that?
I'm not aware of it. Everyone that was on that side came in with masks, but they were sitting on the front row. And I think for optics' sake, they took the mask off. You're talking about a family in the Trump family that is very media conscious and television savvy. And so they know the optic of that, and they took the masks off. But immediately after, everyone put their masks back on. When they walked out the door that night, they walked out with masks on. When they walked into the event, I was in the back when they came in, and everyone had their mask on. And I know Jared and Ivanka and several other members of the family did test along with the president, and they all came back negative. And I don't really see a COVID outbreak as a result of Tuesday's debate. So I'm feeling good about it, and I'm feeling good about the president. Once again, I understand he's asymptomatic right now, and he's in good spirits, and I plan on calling him probably this evening. I'll call him this evening and check in on him, see how he's doing.
Gotcha. I know there's no proof that he even contracted this virus at the debate. Obviously, we hope maybe the scientists may try to figure it out, do some contact tracing, but we never know really. But can you tell me about, I guess, some of your visits to the White House or off camera? I know you said in this particular case, most people wore masks and things like that. When you visit the White House, do they still take some of those similar protocols? What is that experience like for somebody who doesn't get a chance to visit the White House?
I haven't visited as much as at one time I was up there several times a week. Now I haven't visited as much because of these precautions and because the nation is on a shutdown. However, you're not allowed in the West Wing unless you receive a COVID test. So you get tested over in the EEOP building, the Eisenhower administration building. You get a test over there, then you wait for the results. And if you're cleared, you're allowed to go into the West Wing. And once again, when you go into the West Wing, everyone is masked up. So the precautions are in place at the White House. And to be quite honest, the president is a germaphobe anyway. And so, he doesn't really want to come into contact with a lot of people in close quarters unless he's assured that they've been tested. And he gets himself tested on a regular basis. And then, quite unfortunately, on this occasion, he tested positive. But the precautions are in place in the White House. I mean, at one time, even when you went up, you have to clear Secret Service. They have a couple of Secret Service stations when you go in. You go through one station, you go through another station. But in between both Secret Service stations, they actually had a stop. And you have to get your temperature taken and different things like that. So the precautions are in place at the West Wing. It's just not haphazard. We can just go in and out. Any kind of way.
Got you. You said the president is a germaphobe, but yet he insists on not wearing masks in public or in front of cameras.
Well, when I say germaphobe, I'll say it this way: he comes into contact with a lot of people, much the same way I do it as a pastor. When you come into a contact with a lot of people, you shake hands with a lot of people. So he usually keeps a bottle of hand sanitizer in his pocket before the COVID outbreak. The same way I do at church, because you can shake hands with a lot of people, whatever. So he's a guy, when I say germaphobe, I don't mean it to the extent that he's a paranoia or something like that. I just simply means that he washes his hands a lot anyway. And he would sanitize his hands a lot anyway, because when you're shaking hands with a lot of people from a lot of different places, it's something that he takes precautions on.
Got you. Have you been tested for coronavirus since the debate, or do you plan to?
Well, my wife told me I had to now, so I have to obey my personal Dr. Fauci. I got tested the day of the debate. I don't feel anything. I don't have any symptoms, anything like that. But, after the news this morning, she told me I had to get tested again. So I have to do what my doctor tells me to do.
Got you. When do you plan to do that, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. I'll make an appointment. I've been busy all morning. I'll make an appointment. I'll see what happens.
Got you. Any parting words for us, I guess, in regards to this situation? I know you already talked about President Trump's willpower to fight. You talked about his health a little bit. Any other words you want to leave us with as we move forward? And even as a pastor, any spiritual words you want to offer up to people as we go through this? Because obviously the country is still worried. When you hear the president of the United States has contracted a virus that has killed so many, that's enough to make anybody nervous. So any parting words for people?
Well, I think it's time for us to put party politics and partisanship aside right now and pray for our president. Keep him in your prayers and keep him in your thoughts, and lift up his family, he and his wife, and just pray that his health spring forth speedily, that God, amen, has his hand of protection or a hedge of protection around him. We don't want the president to pass. And if this was any other, politician or any other person in general, anyone that we know, we don't want anyone to succumb to this disease, much less the president of the United States. So keep him lifted up in prayer, and keep our country lifted up in prayer that this thing passes very, very soon and we're able to resume our normal duties, and that the country opens back up and the restaurants and the businesses and the churches open back up and we're able to go about our normal business. Let's put aside this hate, put aside this division. Let's unify in being in agreement for the well-being of our country.
All right, thank you, sir. Anything else you want to add, Pastor Scott?
No, that's it. Pray for the president, pray for the country, and I believe God will hear our prayers and we'll be all right.